CNBC-TV18 Weekender.
Hello and a warm welcome to CNBC-TV18 Weekender. On the show today, we've travelled down the west coast to Kochi to meet two brothers who successfully carved the niche for themselves as business tycoons who helped take a family business public. But there's a lot more to Arun and Mithun Chittilappilly, managing directors of Wonderla and V-Guard Industries respectively. While Arun is a fan of the arts who swears by his gadgets and his books, Mithun on the other hand is an avid squash and badminton player who incidentally helped steer the turnover of V-Guard Industries to 10 times of what it was when he first took over in 2004. So without further ado, let's go meet the brothers Chittilappilly. Mithun and Arun Chittilappilly, I have to say at the outset, it's not every day that we see the two of you together here on CNBC-TV18. Unlike most other South Indian businessmen, you're not exactly reticent. However, it's quite rare that we have you both for an interview at the same time. Do these family interviews happen? Do these family get-togethers firstly happen quite often? We'll start with Mithun, of course.
Yeah, I mean, there are, often we have family weddings happening, or Arun comes to Kochi at least once a month, some business related stuff, and then he stays over a couple of extra days. So yeah, it does happen. All
right, and you look forward to getting back home because this is simply where you began. And
yeah, so for me it's like a trip down memory lane every time I come down here, which is very often meet Mithun and his family, my parents. I mean, we're all here, so we are the only family who's living in Bangalore.
Of course,
but it's fun. Yeah, we meet very often.
True. I have to ask you both, Kerala isn't exactly the ideal place to run a business, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, considering both of you know the place better than I do. True, it is home for the two of you. It was where the family business began before things went public. But do tell me, you, for instance, moved the business to Bangalore, the Wonderla of it, Wonderla to Bangalore. Is it because Bangalore served as a better business environment? What was the rationale behind making that move, Arun?
So this was actually not really planned that way. We just built our biggest park in Bangalore, and so consequently it needed a lot of attention in the first few years, and because of that we decided to move to Bangalore. And then the Cochin park was an independent entity, and then it was merged to the Bangalore entity sometime in 2010, and at that point we decided to move the headquarters to Bangalore because we were already settled there.
Okay.
So it was just a random decision, not that we have planned it that way. But then my wife and I, we like to live in Bangalore, and just thought it was a nice place to stay.
All right. And considering you've chosen to stay on, of course, in Kerala, and Cochin, Kerala, of course, is home. What is it like running a business here? I know you started here, but Kerala isn't exactly the best known business capital in India at the moment.
So I think, Kerala has some challenges, or baggage, if you want to use that word. I think in the 70s and 80s there were a lot of militant trade unionism and all that. A lot has changed, but because of that, I think industry did not grow as it should have grown here. But things have changed a lot. It's a lot less difficult to run businesses here. But there are some challenges logistics wise, talent wise. So because we are in a town which is not a business center, so that way there are some challenges, but otherwise we have not faced much problems in the last I would say 10-15 years here.
All right, what the two of you have done is successfully take a family run business and take it public, and this happened a decade ago. Not very many people have managed to do that with such success as you have exemplified. So do tell me, what is the mantra to taking what is essentially a private business, a private family held business, and taking it public? Let me start with you, Arun.
I think in Wonderla's case, it was definitely an industry which is growing in India. It is very nascent. Not many players, organized players in India, and it needs a lot of capital as well. So we thought about raising funds, either through private or public debt. And by that time, we already had a good run in the the market, and we felt that this is definitely a viable option to do it. And I think we had a pretty good reputation by then, as a promoter group, and so that decision was fairly easy. But then my dad also played a big role. He I think always believed in the whole public market system, and more than private equity, I must say. For him, that was always for him, the last bastion of fundraising, and
Absolutely.
so that's how it is.
But what are the challenges really to running, taking a family business? Some would say is a very sentimental decision that you take when starting, and you see it through several phases, and here you are as a listed entity. Is it challenging in some way to run, a public business from what was essentially a family business at the start?
So there are definite advantages and there are definite, I wouldn't say disadvantages, but some challenges. So I think it is difficult because you lose some amount of control and you lose some amount of flexibility. But there are a lot of advantages. You get you have a great board to advise you, and a good board, independent board is always good because it keeps you on your toes, which is not the case when you run, as a private company. You have the luxury of non-performance, for a few quarters. But here, those are the advantages. The disadvantage is that, yes, so we are listed, we are constantly compared. It's very difficult to keep things secret. Your competitors tend to know more about you than when you're private. So these are some of the...
And how do you deal with that?
There's nothing you can do. The only good thing is, luckily, most of our peers are listed. Some of them are still privately held. So that way, we have the same challenges as them. So that's why it's okay.
So what do you guys do for fun when you get together in Kerala? What are the ways you unwind and relax over the weekend, Arun?
In Kerala, I definitely miss all the the good Mallu food in Bangalore. So whenever we are in back in Kerala,
what's your favorite dish?
So we have this karmeen, which is the fish, and the baked in banana leaf. And my mom cooks it well, so she always tries to make it when I come. And then we have beef. So we're Syrian Christians, so we have beef and our own mutton, pork, all our dishes.
You don't miss too much of that now, do you?
No, we don't. I mean, I don't. So I obviously get to eat a lot more Mallu food than Arun does. So I mean, for us here, I mean, it's a quiet town. It's not a very large city. So I still I'm in touch with all my school friends and still hang out. So
on that note, we'll have to slip into a very short break. But on the other side, we'll talk to Arun and Mithun on how they plan to take both the brands, Wonderla and V-Guard, to the next level. Keep watching CNBC-TV18 Weekender.
CNBC-TV18 Weekender.